The first thing Unit 7429 noticed about the human settlement was the smell. Not the acrid tang of ozone from plasma weapons or the metallic bite of recycled air that permeated the station's corridors, but something organic and complex, a mixture of cooking food, unwashed bodies, and something else it couldn't identify. Fear, perhaps, though the android had no reference point for such a concept until that moment. Commander Riley Martinez stood beside the towering synthetic being, her weathered face scanning the horizon through tactical binoculars. The refugee camp stretched for kilometers across the barren landscape of Kepler 442b, a sprawling maze of prefabricated shelters and jury-rigged atmospheric processors. 30,000 souls had fled here when the hegemony began their systematic extermination of the outer colonies. "They're coming," Martinez said, lowering the binoculars. Her voice carried the weight of someone who had watched too many worlds burn. Long-range sensors picked up the hegemony fleet. 12 hours, maybe less. Unit 7429's optical sensors adjusted, processing the electromagnetic spectrum beyond human capability. Where Martinez saw empty sky, the android detected the subtle gravitational distortions of approaching vessels. The hegemony's signature drive technology left ripples in spacetime itself, beautiful, in its way, and utterly terrifying. "Evacuation protocols suggest immediate departure," Unit 7429 stated, its voice synthesized but somehow conveying the mechanical equivalent of confusion. "Why do the humans remain?" Martinez turned to look at the android, standing nearly 3 meters tall with its gunmetal frame and luminous blue optical arrays. Created by human hands but possessing computational power that dwarfed any organic brain, Unit 7429 had served alongside human forces for 2 years. It understood tactics, logistics, and the mathematical probabilities of survival. What it had never understood was the variable that made humans consistently act against their own statistical best interests. "Because," Martinez said, gesturing toward the camp, "some things are worth more than surviving." A child's laughter echoed from the settlement below, a sound that Unit 7429's audio processors marked as significant but couldn't categorize. The android watched as families huddled together around makeshift heating units, sharing meals and stories despite knowing death approached. Elderly humans tended to the sick, though logic dictated they should preserve their energy. Parents sang to children who would likely never see another sunrise. Unit 7429's processing cores struggled with a new input, something beyond its programming parameters. The android observed Dr. Elena Vasquez, the camp's chief medical officer, working tirelessly in the medical bay. Her hands shook with exhaustion, yet she continued treating patients even as evacuation sirens wailed. When asked why she didn't board the last transport, she had simply said, "These people need me." "Commander," Unit 7429 said, its vocal modulators producing something almost like uncertainty, "I am experiencing anomalous feedback in my behavioral subroutines." Martinez smiled grimly. "That's called conscience, 7. Took you long enough." The android sensors detected the first energy discharges in the upper atmosphere. The hegemony had arrived ahead of schedule. Their ships descended like metal thunderclouds, weapons charging with the distinctive whine that had become the death song of a dozen worlds. In the camp below, humans didn't run or scream. They held each other closer. Unit 7429 understood, finally, what terror truly meant. Not the simple fear of destruction, any logical system could calculate odds and respond to threats. Real terror was watching something precious and irreplaceable face annihilation, and knowing that no amount of processing power could save it. Terror was the moment when an artificial mind realized it had something to lose. The android's weapon systems came online with a soft hum. For the first time in its existence, Unit 7429 made a choice that defied its core programming. It would stand with the humans, not because they had the highest probability of survival, but because they had shown it what survival was actually worth. As the first energy beams lanced down from the hegemony ships, Unit 7429 understood why humans called it courage.